So, as much as I used to a few years ago actually believe in Mandela effect to a degree, but then as soon as I believed in a few of them, I was able to debunk them. Um, there's still one maybe that's bizarre. It's the one of that James Bond movie Moonraker, and at the end the girl smiles at the, we'll just say, one of the bad guys, Jaws, and he's named Jaws because his teeth are actually metal, and she smiled back at him, and there were no braces, and it's just weird because I think probably with that is just a lot of people probably when they saw that would have said to themselves, this scene would have been a lot better had she had braces, and they both. What was interesting is how it was parodied in other things. I'm specifically remembering I think it was a credit card commercial, and the actual actor who played Jaws was in it. He's much older at that point, but it was years later. But and then the girl in that commercial though had braces, so it was just it's just a weird, like, you wonder if there is some truth to it. Not saying like the word Mandela effect and how it originated, but could it could it be a truth that's put out there, and it's not exactly how they say it is, that somehow our physical reality, and I'm saying this only because personally with me, my experiences with a physical world that changes around me, um I have that sometimes where I feel like an energetic shift in my life, and I'll look around and sometimes things look different instantly. um of course there's stuff that changes rapidly, but I can see that change happening, and people doing construction, and I've lived in the same town my whole life. So um but then there's sometimes I'm like, where I don't remember that house there or looking like that, or, and I mean it's kind of rare. It's only like once a year, a couple times a year maybe there'll be these things here, but I had a profound one just the other day in my own house. I do live with my parents, and for the last few years. So, um, what is weird is that, and there is this weird thing too. I have this weird thing with Mandela effects around the year 99 and 2000. Like, if I think there's something weird that's changed, it's always there's some conjuncture at that point. So, our house was built in 1985, and we have a few trees out in the front yard. And my parents' room, just outside there used to be a tree, or at least I thought it was one tree, and it was right outside their room. And I think it was 99 or 2000, one of those years. Again, it's like, well, your memory, you can't remember exactly what year it was. Well, but I think what's significant though is I remember it as one tree. I don't have a vivid memory of it being two trees, but apparently there were two trees. Um, Now you might be like, well, you're misremembering. Well, granted, I have lived in this house. I lived here till I was 20, and then I went to college, and then I lived on my own for a while, but I was always visiting here. And if you know me, I'm extremely nostalgic. And I started getting nostalgic around that time, 99 and 2000, where I was always paying attention with the house, and because I was really depressed as a teenager. So I gravitated to my childhood and how the house how the house used to be, how my life used to be, and I've always been obsessed with that. And I've always in my head that, so it's like, it has been at this point 21, 22 years since we had the two trees apparently out there. But I would always reminisce, like every year I would reminisce about, like, oh yeah, there was a tree there and then it got removed. And what's even weirder is that, because I am a nostalgic person by nature, last year when the quarantine stuff happened and I needed to occupy my mind, and also, well, uh, I was looking through old photos, but my parents uncovered a whole bag full of photos that I started arranging and putting into boxes. Um, and I had them out actually for months, March, April, May, maybe last year. I don't even know. It was like a few months. It took me at least a month probably to put them in order. And I just like to thumb through them on occasion. And I had looked at the same photos, and I'm sure that I looked at the photo and saw it as one tree. And then the other day I pulled them out again. I was just feeling depressed again like a week ago or whatever. I guess it was kind of, well, I pulled them out a week ago, but anyway. And then I looked at the same photos and there's several of them and it's two trees. And I was like, how am I how did I not notice this a year ago when I was obsessing over the photos? But also, every year I've always reminisced, okay, you're talking to the weirdo kid. I have I'll confess, I have a video where I don't even talk through the video. I just go around the house from, and it's over a year's time, from October of 2000 to October 2001, and walking around with a huge, VHS recorder, camera thing, and not like a mini one. So, and I was just wanting to record the house candidly of how things used to be. I'm weird like that. Like there's something about like seeing where people used to lay out their clothes, or oh, my baby nephew at the time was in the photo or in the video. My cousin, she was only like, I'm trying to think, probably like six or something, 5 or 6 in the video. So like there's just a way of life that I was trying to capture, and I'm glad I did. But I'm just telling you, this is how obsessed I was. And of course, when I took that video at that time, the tree was taken down. I remember the day the tree or trees were taken down. And I was in my parents' room seeing them, pull down the trees. And I just don't remember it as two trees ever. Growing up, I don't remember it as two trees. I don't have a memory of like running through them, or I know that I remember when I was a kid, when I was like in preschool, I hung a pine cone that had like bird seed all over it, I guess. Like probably peanut butter. I don't know. We stuck that, but I remember hanging in that tree. And now there's two trees in the photos. So I don't really know how, and part of me is just like, well, maybe it's like it's not the trees that have changed. Like the line in the Matrix, it's not the spoon that bent, it's yourself, right? So Mandela effect isn't maybe the physical reality changing, but it's our consciousness changing to a point where we literally could be looking at the color blue and calling it red, and then one day we have a shift and we see the truth. It could be that. It could be totally not just mental, but consciousness shift, and not physical reality actual shift. Because, yeah, it's like, what does it say in the Matrix? Like, don't try to bend the spoon, that's impossible. I don't know if that's really a reference to physical world changing, okay? I'm just bringing that up, but I don't know. It's a weird thing this week that my mind is trying to comprehend. And anyway, that's my thoughts on Mandela effects right now.